process of making these pieces has really helped me process, rationalize, internalize, externalize all of the I's of what it's like for him to have this condition, and also what it's like for me as a caregiver to experience him now. My name's Kristin M. Beck. I'm an artist and a writer. The exhibit is called Before I Forget, and the jumping off point is that my father has dementia, and I started to take on his care and be his person. And there are a lot of things that happen when you take on that role. I began to realize that there has to be a way for me to communicate as an artist and for me to process what's happening with him and what's happening with me as a caregiver, what it's like to have dementia. How can I represent it visually? How can I represent it with sound? How can I represent it with tactile things? But also appreciate the time I had with him. The time I have with him now is different, but the time I had with him then, and the difference between the two, the memories that are resurfaced, if you will, because I've touched these ties or this shirt or the pockets and the handkerchiefs and all the things that belong to someone. They belong to him, and the intrinsic energy that's exchanged in that process is what I'm trying to communicate, I think, with some of these pieces. Emotion and love and laughter, those human things are, if I've captured it all and am able to share it in any way, the humanity in all these pieces and all the different ways and all the different mediums, and it just makes it a human show, human exhibition. The way I went about the whole exhibit is it's truly like a set of mini installations. As an artist, I like to experience all mediums and all processes. I find so much joy in that. Pulling, a paintbrush through paint or a threaded needle through fabric, I find that joyful. And I thought, how could I, knowing how to make all these things, tell this story, help tell this story? All of these pieces, while at first blush are decorative, like a quilt is a quilt, but if it's a quilt of your dad's shirts that you quilted together, it takes on a different meaning. I really want to be able to share all these stories and all these ideas with as many, mediums as I have at my fingertips. Now you're part of it. You are part of that piece because you touched it, you went through the Viewmaster, you took a button, you wrote yourself a card, whatever it is. You're part of it now. And I think it's almost like that same investment as the memory. Whether it's a big or small investment, you're invested now in the piece. I wanted to be able to pay attention to old school methods of making things, combine it with new school methods of describing them, and where it met in the middle. Besides, I like to make stuff. They're all really personal things that they've shared, and what an honor to have received them all. I had an opportunity at 3 different museums to gather memories. Quilts are functional pieces of art. They mean comfort, they mean so many things. Everybody can recognize a quilt when they see it. There's something very accessible about them too. So to me, it's what a great way to include that as a storytelling device is the quilt. Some of them, there's a few that will bring me to tears if I read them again. Then there's this one that's visceral, and you know exactly what this person means. It's amazing that all of those people share that, and that they talked with me a little bit about it. And just to be able to share those things again and again is amazing. Working with communities for me has enriched the pieces like tenfold, because my working practice, I'm in my individual space working on my individual thing. When I took it even further, went out to a community, so I'm out of my personal space making things, and invite them to help me create a piece. It just broadened the whole thing. It just creates this lovely space to be in, and to just the sharing and the social sharing, and the fact that I could say, look, thank you for helping me make this piece, and come see it. They now have invested meaning in the piece. They've invested themselves and they invested their story, and I had in turn invested my time and love for their stories into something that will last. There's a video with pieces that mimic or replicate neon, because I really wanted to include that sound, the sound of neon flickering, and the idea of a thought flickering away that you can't quite capture, or you just, now you forgot it. And I wanted to be able to convey that, what that would be like. And I wanted to bring the humor in too with those pieces. So one of the neon signs in the video says, "Put on pants." Those are just glorious little moments that I have captured along the way, some of the thoughts that people, either my father shared, or people in memory care facilities, or other people that have, that know people that have dementia or Alzheimer's that shared these with me. There's one called "Now What?" because that's literally my dad, and also literally what he would say. He'd go, "Now what?" You know? And we were to supply the answer as to what was to happen next. But it was just really funny the way he said it, and to me that's a moment now, and he doesn't really do that anymore. And so I feel like I've captured that time. The idea of like, turn off the lights, that's a neon sign. I just like the idea of this tongue-in-cheek way of doing that, presenting some humorous thoughts, capturing the idea of neon and the flickering thought and the flickering moment. And then some of them also captured those really tender truths that happened along the way, like specifically with my dad saying, I used to have purpose. And that moment that he told me that, and it's in one of the memory nests, and that I wanted to keep it safe.
In-depth look at the individual pieces, which will allow you to get...
I would love for more talks around the idea of neuroarts and brain health and all of those things.
Let's think now how we can build a better brain as we get older.
I think it is really important to have it be a topic of conversation and to activate the space. Sometimes gallery spaces and museums are very quiet, and that's a wonderful experience too, but if you can also activate them with language and sound and laughter or tears or any of those things, I think it's like lightning in a bottle. I wanted to share the experience, and you know, at the beginning as an artist, I'm just like, I hope somebody gets it. And not only did they get it, but they responded on such a human level. They shared stories, and it's kind of a simple thing, but it's those simple things that can lead to bigger things and bigger stories and bigger ideas. And I think things and textures and color, and people have human responses to those things.